Hi, this is Jack from National Mortgage Professional Magazine, and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar, sponsored and presented by Jason Lutz of LO SocialBot. I would like to thank all of our webinar attendees for taking the time out of their busy schedules for this valuable and informative webinar in our ongoing series of webinars. Jason Lutz started in the mortgage industry 18 years ago as a secondary marketing analyst. A few years later, he became a loan originator, thinking that he could use his unique skill set as a secondary marketing to his advantage. Jason quickly got a blinding glimpse of the obvious. Succeeding as loan originator is a lot more complicated than just knowing the loan products inside and out. He persevered to ultimately become the top originator. Jason went on to start a branch, growing its closings to $15 million a month and ultimately becoming vice president of a leading mortgage company while growing his region to over $109 million a month in closings. Looking for a new challenge, Jason went on to GoDaddy, where he conceived and launched a product for shared house hosting to improve web developers' experience building websites on WordPress and other open source platforms. As COO of Derivarian Group, Jason is responsible for developing technology to help grow thousands of loan originators' business, grow company loan officers' footprint while improving the consumer's experience. If you have any questions during the webinar, please be sure to ask them on GoToWebinar console. We will try to answer as many questions as possible at the end of the webinar. Without further ado, I'd like to turn this over to Jason Lutz.
All right. Well, thank you for the intro, Jacqueline. How you doing, everyone? My name is, she said, Jason Lutz, and we have a whole host of products. We have Rate Alert, which many of you have heard of, LO SocialBot. Actually, I'll be talking to you quite a bit about LO SocialBot and how it helps you get deals from social media without looking salesy. But before I get knee deep into this and how it is that you can get referrals from social media, I want to make sure you can hear me okay and that you can see my screen, because I've done this a million times and I get halfway through this and I find out that I'm talking to myself and no one can see my screen, or they're seeing the wrong screen. So on my screen, you should see how to get deals from social media without looking salesy. Lower right-hand corner is my ugly mug, and then our logos in the lower left-hand corner. If you see that and you can actually hear me, okay, just let us know and we'll get started. Jack, does it look like we're good there?
Looks like we're good.
All right, so if you can't hear me or can't see my screen or something's whatever, it's probably you, and I apologize, but we will be sending out a recording of this to everyone. So let's just jump into this. First of all, I want to make sure this webinar is for you, because there's nothing worse than to be into a webinar 20 minutes or so and you're like, holy crap, this is not what I thought it was, and this is a complete and utter waste of time. This is for you if you've marketed on Facebook and failed, okay? And don't worry, because any kind of marketing, well, you guys know, you do kind of marketing, email marketing, print marketing, you know, anything, right? You fail more often than you succeed. And so social media marketing or Facebook marketing is no different. So I'm going to outline some of the things that we do for our members, and you can absolutely duplicate yourself, by the way, guys. There's nothing magical about social media marketing, about what we do, how we help our members. But there's little things that you can tweak, little things that we do that you can do and duplicate and have a tremendous amount of success, okay? This is also for you if you are having success, right? And everything's kind of going all right, because if you're having success, you know it takes work, right? It's not easy. It's not like you just flip a switch and everything's good. And so it is for you if you're having success, because like I said, we're going to help you get a little bit more success, tweak a few things. There's actually one thing that we did sort of by accident, and I'll share that with you, that increase our in traffic. Like once someone clicked on a post from Facebook and they go to the website, in traffic by 300%. And you can certainly duplicate that for sure. Plus, by the way, I'll show you at the end how it is that LO SocialBot can make your life a hell of a lot easier. And then lastly, this is for you if you don't feel good about selling yourself. You know what I mean? Like to your friends and followers, at least this is for me, and maybe it's because I'm a terrible salesperson, I don't know. But the thought of me asking for a sale from my friends and followers on a regular basis at all on Facebook, it just doesn't feel good, okay? So what I'm gonna show you is sort of a cool way to do it, right? That's not annoying and that doesn't feel salesy, kind of like the subject line of this, right? But full disclosure, because I don't want this to be confusing at all to anyone, and I kind of mentioned this before, I'll be talking about LO SocialBot, okay? Quite a bit, actually, throughout this presentation. Now, there's really two reasons why. First of all, it's how we gain our experience, right? We make a lot of changes. We help a lot of loan officers, thousands, and real estate agents market on Facebook. And because of that, we're doing things all the time that we're just kind of tweaking and changing and experimenting with. But again, I'll just jump to full disclosure. I just want to make sure everyone understands that, first of all, I will be talking about LO Social Bot. I mentioned that earlier. Hopefully you guys heard me. But there's technically no reason why you necessarily need to buy LO Social Bot or any other product for that matter to be successful on social media, okay? It's about doing a few things that I'll share with you on a consistent basis to have success. And I'll share with you exactly what it is that we do and how it is that, frankly, if you have the time and the inclination, you can absolutely duplicate yourself. Secondly, second reason why is sort of self-serving. I want you to give LO Social Bot a try for 30 days for $1, and I'll share with you a discount code, exactly how you can do that, how you can lock in your price after these new features that we're coming out with. And the fact is that everyone loves it. There's some reviews right there. Hopefully you can see my screen. And it's really because of one thing, because our content, but I'll get to that here in a second. So let's just get started with the meat of this. I know you guys have been waiting long enough, and again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. All right, so let's say you have 300 Facebook friends, okay? That is statistically the average. The average person has 300 Facebook friends. Now, you may have more, you may have less. I mean, you're in sales, so you may have quite a bit more. But let's say you have 300. Now, about 10% of those people will move each and every year. Now, I guess statistically speaking, that means you have 30 potential deals per year. Now, I'm not taking into consideration refis and purchase of second homes and investment properties, which I guess could inflate the number, but I'm certainly not taking into consideration the fact that you might have kids and stuff on your social media, right? Your kids' friends and that kind of thing. So we'll just work with the number. Obviously, you're on this webinar, so you know that there are deals to be had on Facebook, on social media, so that's a fact. But the question really is, why is it that we're not getting the kind of referrals from Facebook that we would expect, right? There's really one reason why, guys, and it's not anything different than any other marketing that we do. And a lot of times, like people like me that are social media marketers and we got products like this, we try to make it sort of magical, like it's so different than any other kind of marketing out there. But the reality is it's not. There's one key ingredient that needs to exist, whether or not you're marketing on social media, email marketing, door-to-door sales, it doesn't matter. It's about being there at the magic moment, right? When someone is sort of in that decision-making process, right? We're never gonna convince someone to buy a house and get a mortgage or investment property or second home. In fact, that's not what our job is to do. Our job is to help and consult and make the transaction go smoothly. But being there in front of a real estate agent, for example, when a deal is going south, I mean, from a loan officer that they're using that's not you, I mean, you don't have to be a spectacular salesperson, right, to take advantage of that situation and be able to help that real estate agent. So clearly being there is the focus, right? And the rest sort of takes care of itself. But since, if that's the case, which I think we can all agree, well, Facebook is really the best place to be in front of someone to help ensure that you're there at the magic moment because, well, at least on the internet, right? I mean, there is no better place to be on the internet if you want to be in front of people on a regular basis so you're there at the magic moment. Actually, let me show you the statistics and then we'll kind of jump into how it is that you can be there better. So look at this. 1 in 5 page views in the United States occurs on Facebook. 20% of the internet traffic. It's not our blog or a website or anything like that. It's Facebook. I find that absolutely insane. But anyway, the average time spent per Facebook visit is 20 minutes. Not per day, per visit. I mean, that number, for those of you, and I know many of you are internet marketers and that kind of thing, or at least to a degree, you know that 20 minutes is totally an insane amount of time. Maybe like Netflix and a handful of other websites might have that kind of time spent there. So that's a lot. But this last stat, if there's any sort of, I don't know if Facebook marketing is for me. I'm not sure if I really should need a strategy. I I haven't had to up until now, that kind of thing. If there's any sort of doubt in your mind, this last stat should sort of assuage all those fears or doubts or anything like that. 78% of salespeople using social media outsell their peers. 78%. Now, I think the reason is clear on why that would be the case. We kind of went over it here a minute ago. It's because with social media, specifically Facebook, you're just in front of people more often, right? You're having more opportunities to subtly sell yourself. Now, I'm not talking about just jamming it in someone's face that, hey, if you need to buy a refi, I'm your guy. I'm just being consistently in front of people, providing good quality content and information to let them know that you're in the business, you know what you're doing, and you're here to help, right? And so there really is only one way to consistently be in front of someone on Facebook, not look salesy, not look desperate and pathetic, right? And that is, and I've kind of alluded to, content marketing, right? Content creates trust, and this has always been true, and trust is the filter through which all business success must pass. So if we're going to be on Facebook in a meaningful way, engendering credibility, content is the only way to do it. Because otherwise, I mean, you guys know, in fact, you probably have like friends or followers that you see all the time posting stuff on social media, and they're the ones that are consistently pipping themselves. You know, this is a lot of multi-level marketing and vitamin sales and things like that. And they're just constantly throwing in your face that, hey, if you need this, let me know. Or if you want to be a part of this club, let me know. It just comes off as sort of sad and pathetic. But content marketing, providing value consistently, talking about what's happening in mortgage and real estate, about their biggest asset, which is their house if they already have one, or if they're looking to buy a home. And that's quite frankly what we do at LO Social Bot, and what I'm going to show you and how it is that you can do it yourself, which is provide information on a regular basis that anyone that owns a home or is looking to buy a home would care about, right? That is really the key. But there's sort of, I don't know, 3 keys to content marketing that sort of need to exist for it to really be effective, right? To grab people's attention, have them enjoy the content and respond to it on a regular basis. First of all, timeliness, meaning make sure the content is happening now. You see that, I'm sure you guys see this a lot, like this content that's sort of evergreen, that it could be posted, well, today, tomorrow, or it could have been posted 6 months ago. It really doesn't matter. That kind of content, while some of it has its place, and in fact, at LO Social Bot, we actually provide some of that, which is good. But the key for consistent marketing, the type of marketing that you're going to do on a regular basis, is to ensure that just about everyone in your sort of sphere that you're posting to is interested in what you're posting. You know, and to do that, if it's timely, if it's happening now, that means it's affecting a lot of your people. And what I'm talking about is like news, right? Geopolitical events, economic news, things that are happening locally or whatever that's affecting real estate, so that anyone that owns a home or anyone that is looking to buy a home would be sort of intrigued with, they would care about, okay? Again, this is content marketing that you're doing on a regular basis. The other thing is make sure it's relevant. Okay, what I mean by relevant is meaning that it has to do with mortgage and real estate. I mean, I don't mean like, you know, you talk about loan products, because that's not really a good idea, because it only applies to a very specific group. And again, we're trying to cast a wide net because we're posting on a regular basis in this particular case. I'm talking about stuff that engenders credibility, right? Where you are talking about mortgage and real estate stuff. An example of a non-relevant type post that might be good, which is, you know, how to organize your closet so you can fit 10 times the stuff, or how to get a wine stain out of your carpet. Now, that's good information and may very well apply to some of the people in your sphere, even at that time, but it's not really relevant to what it is you do. It doesn't sort of remind them that you are in the business, that you know what you're doing, that you are relevant, meaning you're a part of the industry. You have your finger on the pulse, okay? Lastly, and I've sort of alluded to this a few times as well, it needs to be interesting. See, when we're talking about content marketing, I'm talking about marketing that is news related that you're posting on a very regular basis. And so you want to make sure that you're not hyper targeting, right, too many people, because that means that it's not interesting to most of your audience. An example of a non-interesting post is a listing. You know, loan officers, real estate agents post that all the time on their social media. Now, posting a listing obviously serves a purpose, right? I mean, certainly real estate agents need to do it. Say, hey, we're in social media marketing, we post listings, that kind of thing. But it just needs to be sort of peppered in, because it's not interesting to almost everyone in your social media sphere, right? They don't care about that house in that particular neighborhood, at that particular price point, with that number of bedrooms. Like it has no value to them, okay? So make sure that of your content marketing is sort of interesting to most. And again, I'll show you some examples here, some key things to include in your content marketing, and then what we do at LO SocialBot that can really help appeal to a wide variety of your audience. All right, so there's really 3 types of content that I want to talk about real quick and show you. All of them have their advantages and disadvantages, and we provide all 3 at LO SocialBot. The first type is content marketing or news, and that's what I've been talking about here with LO SocialBot. Just super quick, with content marketing, we have like anywhere from 3 to 7 different types of pieces that you schedule for all your different social media accounts that automatically post each and every day, depending on the schedule and the frequency that you want. You're in complete control. This is news type of content. This is sort of the, I don't know, the heavy lifting of marketing, because you guys know that the hard part about marketing isn't the one-off piece saying, hey, you know, we got this new loan product, you need to check it out. Or, hey, if you're a first-time home buyer, we got the new deal for you. That part is easy because it's just sort of sporadic and it's inconsistent. You can do it sort of when you find time. The hard part is the consistency. And if you're not going to market on social media, I mean, whether or not you get LO SocialBot or not, by the way, if you're not going to market, let's say even social media, just in general, whether or not it's email marketing or print advertising or farming of any kind, if you don't do it consistently, there's no reason to do it. Like, don't fool yourself, don't bother. And that's a great thing with LO SocialBot. We take the heavy lifting up because we do the content marketing piece, the news piece. There's a second type. This is the targeted content, okay? This is content that is focused in on a particular group. There is an advantage and there's a disadvantage to this type of content. So I'm going to be completely clear and honest, right? And an example, and I'll show you examples here in a second of targeted content. But targeted content is like, hey, you know, what do you need to know when you buy your first investment property? You know what I mean? Well, is it time for me to refi, or is it, you know, millennials' guide to buying their first home? Very specific. You know what I mean? Kind of like the listing, in the sense that not everyone in your group is interested in this particular sort of content. That's why you don't want to do that kind of stuff all the time, because once they think that you're doing it all the time, they're just it's just noise to them, because you know, it doesn't apply to them. That's why the other type of marketing, the content marketing, the news type of pieces that appeals to a wide variety, you need to be doing on a consistent basis, because almost everyone is interested in that. The bad part also about targeted content is that typically there's not a call to action. You know what I mean? Like, there's not like, hey, you know, give me this and I'll give you that, right? Like an ebook or something of that nature, okay? So the good part is it's targeted, it's specific, and someone that reads it that is that person that's looking to buy an investment property, and you've targeted that content about, hey, this is what you need to know if you're buying an investment property, it hits them, you know, almost on a emotional basis, because it's speaking to them very specifically, unlike the news related items that's very generic, just telling them about in general what's happening. I hope that makes sense. The last one, this has very specific advantages and disadvantages. The type of content that is designed to generate a lead, which I know everyone on this call is like, all right, I'm looking for referrals, I'm looking for leads on Facebook, on LinkedIn, I don't care where it is, I'm just looking for leads. All right, so that type of content, for it to sort of generate leads and referrals on a regular basis needs to be very specific. And I'll give you an example of one that we have. But it needs to solicit a response. It needs to sort of require you to give something, right, to get something in return, like a bait. We a lot of times call this sales pages or squeeze pages. And really the sort of the bad thing about a lead generating post is a lot of times there's not a lot of sort of information just given out. You know what I mean? Just saying, hey, this is what you need to know if you're buying your first investment property, and you just kind of throw it up all over the website and they can kind of learn about it. In a lead generating website, you say, hey, if you want to know the 6 mistakes that most first-time investment property purchasers make, you need this, download. Or, hey, this is the millennial guide to buying your first home that your landlord would hate for you to read. Like, that is a lead generating post. Okay. The good part is it generates leads. The bad part is the same thing with the other type, the targeted marketing. It only applies to a very specific group. So we need to sort of pepper that type of post in with the content news related items so that we're ensured that a great majority of our friends and followers will read it. Okay. I hope all that makes sense. So what I want to do here is sort of run through LO Socialbot's scheduler. And when I do that, we're going to learn a few things. I'm going to show you some posts, right? And some key things that they have in them, right? That you can duplicate on your own, particularly for Facebook posts and LinkedIn. I'll kind of focus on those two. But that really work in particular set of circumstances. I'm going to show you one Facebook post in particular that you can duplicate, and that even if you don't want to duplicate, it has a couple of things that your Facebook sort of posts or posts that that are going to Facebook really need to have that I think you could be making a mistake on. So when you look at this scheduler here, okay, this is LO Socialbot. Now, if you were to log in here and you give us a try for $1 for 30 days, this is the thing you're going to see first right out of the gate. And as I scroll down here, I'm showing you all the different types of posts that we do. On the left-hand side, it tells you the type of post. On the right-hand side, it tells you the day or the schedule, right? Whatever it is you want to post. You can have it as often. I'm going to go over a few things. Other posts. This is either on or off, okay? And the reason why it's either on or off, unlike our other ones, as you can see here, are like days of the week, is because it's we never really know when it's going to happen, guys. I mean, it's all dictated on what's happening on the news, right? If something really sort of momentous happening that people are already talking about, right? It's already sort of in the social media ether, then we pull it back in to say, hey, this is what's happening, and this is how it affects mortgage and real estate and that kind of thing. That's a flash post. Let me give you an example. Here's an example. So this is when the Fed set the stage for a December rate hike, right? We remember, just happened. What's great about this type of post is that this is in the news, and it's not just sort of relegated to us mortgage and real estate sort of geeks, right? This is like everyone has heard about the Fed increasing rates. Are they going to increase rates yesterday? What's going to happen? A couple things I want to point out here, okay? And maybe a mistake some of you are doing, or at least I view it as a mistake. You can maybe think I'm wrong, I guess. Notice here how this is all branded to us, to you. So this would be your logo, your information, your information. One thing I would highly suggest, I see this a lot, is like you guys saw an article on CNBC or CNN that said, hey, the Fed didn't increase rates, but set the stage for December, and this is the deal. Well, by posting that article on CNBC, it doesn't engender any credibility. And that is one of the keys, right? When you do stuff on social media and you're posting on a regular basis, you're not only trying to stay in front of your friends and followers that already know you. The second thing you're trying to do is you're trying to engender credibility, not only for the people that know you, but for the people that don't. And I'll explain that here in a second. But posting something from a third-party website doesn't do that, right? Anyone can do that, number one. And number two, maybe most importantly, you're pushing them over to a world that's not yours, right? There could be ads about mortgage and real estate, particularly if they're at their magic moment, like we talked about before, and they're actually ready to buy or refi or something of that nature. Man, that would be a terrible mistake. You've just pushed them to the competition. And so make sure that you don't do that. The second thing is that I don't think I mentioned enough, and I actually a lot of times forget in this presentation, is that a lot of times we think about, okay, well, I'm posting for my existing friends and followers on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and that's true, right? Obviously, by and large. But another key thing, guys, is that when you meet with a new real estate agent or you are meeting with a prospective client, they're doing the same thing that we all do. You know, they're Facebook stalking you. They're going on LinkedIn. They're particularly if they're a real estate agent. They're checking you out. And you sure as hell better have some information on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook business page, on your regular personal page, whatever the case may be, that shows that you're in the business and that you're a going concern and you know what you're doing, right? Because they don't have a lot else to go on, okay? Here's another post. For those of you that want to post on a regular basis, but also want sort of quick ones to do, this is a relatively quick and easy one to do. Not sure it engenders a lot of credibility, which I just went on and on about credibility, how important it is, and how LO SocialBot helps you do that. This might be a little bit of an exception to the rule. What we post here are celebrity home listings, new cool technology for the house, that kind of thing. And I don't know, friends and followers just eat this stuff up. I think it's because that they like to see celebrity home listings. They like to see how the other half is living. And also, it's just fun. It's just fun stuff. By the way, mortgage market overview, I have a lot to talk about on this one because this is perfect for Facebook, and it teaches us, I think, quite a bit about posting good posts on Facebook just in general. Now, mortgage market overview is what it sounds like. It's a brief overview, very easy, very skimmable, to read on Facebook. And I'll show you this on Facebook in a second. In fact, let me just do it right now. So here's our Facebook page, okay? Now, this is our Facebook page. See how that's our branding on there, but our branding doesn't show up on our, on Facebook. This is just our page. I just want to make sure that's perfectly clear. Also, this is our reviews. Everyone loves LO SocialBot, and it's because of the content and the fact that it's good quality stuff. I'm going to make this look like a phone, guys. You may not know. About 65, so your posts, your blog, or whatever the case may be, better look dynamite on mobile if you are at all posting it on social media, okay? Particularly on Facebook, because that's where people go. The second thing I want to point out is see how this image right here is the same as this image right at the top. So this is sort of shaped like a phone. So it's above the phone fold. This is critical on your Facebook posts. A lot of times loan officers, actually anyone, what they want to do is they want to have their logo, their information, at the top, right? Their about me, just all kinds of stuff about them and their company. The reality is that's fine when it's big like this, you know what I mean? And they have all kinds of stuff to look at. The problem is when it's like this, phone view, you click on it and people get confused. They're like, whoa, where am I? I thought I was going to read about the daily mortgage market overview. Now I just see a face of this and that. I don't know where I'm at. I know I'm sure you guys have done it before. I know I've done it, particularly with videos. I seem to happen all the time with video. I click on the video and I'm in this world that I have no idea where I'm at. At least I thought it was a video. The second thing that's absolutely key, I think, and what we found actually with our members. Oh, and by the way, this one change right here, because we used to have it the way that loan officers and everyone kind of does it, is the logo and the loan officer's information at the top, all that kind of stuff, the way it typically is. When we changed it to this, increased in-post traffic. So once they click on here and they go to this page right on the phone, increased it by 300%. It was monumental because people don't get bumped. They don't get confused. All right, so you scroll. You see how this sort of tells a story, but you don't really have to read anything. It's sort of graphic oriented. Keep that in mind, particularly with your Facebook posts, okay? Because people are skimming Facebook. They aren't really reading anything. And they'll occasionally read it if it sort of strikes them. But for the most part, they just sort of skim. And then if they find something interesting that grabs them, then they'll read. And that's exactly what we do with this mortgage market overview. And this is where we talk about, hey, this is what's happening with mortgage and real estate. Again, the kind of information that if you own a home or looking to buy a home, you're going to care about. It's not hyper targeted to a particular demographic. Okay, I hope that makes sense. One other thing, by the way, this is another accent that, man, think about this with your graphics. A lot of our graphics, in fact, are like typical graphics. You're like this one. This is one of our posts. This is the way it looks on Facebook. Looks great, and it sort of coincides with what we're talking about: Federal Reserve, Fed, rate hikes. A lot of times people have houses and that kind of thing for their graphics. One thing we found with this graphic, and it's not like particular like amazing or anything, but this dial right here, because people are posting it regularly, or at least once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, their friends and followers start to sort of understand what it is, right? Hey, direction of rates. We talk about the direction of rates. We never, ever talk about actual rates. We never say the average 3-year fix is 4.25 today, but we do talk about direction. Hey, rates are going up. Oh no, rates are good. Rates are going down. So you can kind of tell from this dial what's going on. When it's here, people are like, oh, okay, things are pretty stable, no biggie. Okay, I got it. Maybe I'm interested because I'm in the middle of buying a home, or I'm just curious what's going on. But man, when it gets here or here, just because they get kind of accustomed to see it, they know something's happening, and then they click on it, right? And see what in the world is happening that's pushing mortgage rates up and down that dramatically. Just a little thing that we did that, again, wasn't entirely intentional, but man, we see a spike in traffic when it gets to here or here. Okay, so that's pretty fun. Another one, in-depth market analysis. This is the same timely relevant content, right, that we were talking about before. But for LinkedIn, as you guys know, it's not like really I mean, we have all these other social media, but for the most part, for loan officers, we see it's Facebook and it's LinkedIn, and Twitter is a distant second, and then Google Plus and Pinterest, barely anyone has. But for LinkedIn, for us, what we do is post the same timely, relevant content. But as you guys know, it's more of a professional network, right? Real estate agents, financial planners, tax accountants, attorneys, builders, people in our industry, or at least in and around it. Well, in that case, you need to put a little bit more meat on the bone for them to be interested in. And that's exactly what we do. What we do is we take the same timely information, because it needs to be happening now. It needs to be news if you're posting on a regular basis, so people are interested in it. But we put a little bit of historical perspective on it. I don't know why I'm making it look like a phone, but I am, so take it as a guess. So check that out. LinkedIn, people don't look at a phone quite as much. Oh, the other thing we do here, and I mentioned that it's important on your social media, is also we have, you basically have an auto blog. These are all the posts that you've approved and have posted to your social media right here. So now again, it shows depth of content, shows that you're in the business and that you're doing stuff. And you're providing value to your friends and followers. I mean, they like this stuff. I won't go over too many more. You guys get the idea with real estate market overview, credibility booster. This is a very popular one with our group, which is basically we talk about, Equifax, when that whole debacle went down, we talk about how you protect yourself. Again, try to keep it timely and relevant. It's a complete consumer advocacy piece. Never really selling them at all. None of this content is never asking for a sale. This is designed to stay in front of them in a cool way, and then pepper in the targeted marketing and then the lead generating marketing. Now, let me share with you real quick, and then we'll get into a couple other things. You know what? Actually, by the way, let me just show you how easy it is to set this up, and then I'll get into the other kinds of marketing. You set the schedule, right? You do 2 other things. Those are the only other things you need to do to actually get this to work. You click Connect Social Network. You just click Connect. Like in this case, I actually have this account hooked up to our Facebook LO Social Bot. But you can have it hooked up to your personal, to your business, to all of them, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you just click Connect and you're connected. I mean, there's nothing really to do there. And then you edit your marketing profile, which is like any other profile you've filled out a million times. What's great about this is that you do those 3 things, and you can have news, content marketing automatically posted to your social media each and every day, or as frequently as you want, or infrequently, and you don't have to lift a finger. So it's designed to help you sort of keep your Facebook and your LinkedIn peppered with good quality content that your people care about without having to do anything. And then you can post your targeted marketing and your lead generating marketing that I'll show you that we have as well on a less frequent basis, because that you don't want to do that all the time. A couple other things. We have a website widget for your existing website. You can change the theme of it, look and feel of it, all that kind of stuff. All right. Let's talk about targeted marketing. I told you I'd show you examples because I'm a little bit vague. Well, I'm not meaning to be vague. I'm actually trying to hurry too because I wasted a bunch of you guys' time with the whole technical difficulty. So again, I apologize for that. But let me show you some targeted marketing. Now, this is something that we're launching Monday or Tuesday of next week. That, man, I really hope all of you take advantage of where we are at right now with LO Social Bot and the pricing we're at and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that, hey, get it now before price increases, because that's kind of cheeseball, but you'll see why here in a second. That I guess technically I'm being cheeseball. So you click Post Creator, and I mentioned this before that you're going to want to pepper in periodically the targeted marketing. And with LO Social Bot, you can create your own posts and do whatever it is you want. You know what I mean? Like, talk about your company, talk about your trip, talk about things that are more personalized. But you can also take advantage of a content library that we have that's very specific to first-time home buyers. You know, credit, FHA, VA, home appraisal questions, investment properties, and you can take this good quality content. This is juicy stuff. By the way, I don't do full-time bond analysts. We have real estate agent, loan officers writing this. This isn't like, I don't know, repurposed content from CNBC that some English major is trying to mold it in a way that would sound good coming from. No, these are people that know what they're doing or are in the business. So you can click on this, click view and edit, and then all you do is either post it, I guess you can do that, but you can change it and manipulate it and make it your own, regionalize it if you want, but the heavy lifting, once again, is done for you. The meaty part of this post is done, and you can set the schedule, and then you're done. Rock and roll, that's it. And this is the type of post that you will want to pepper in periodically to your friends and followers to sort of hyper focus on one particular group so that you can emotionally charge them and raising their hand and saying, I have a question. Okay, that's what this is designed to do. But by the way, let's say you don't even want to do that. You just want to send off an email, because we have so much content that we're pushing out each and every day, good quality content, and you have a list or post or past closings or real estate agents, whatever. You can copy this, and then you can send it off with a CRM or even with your Outlook. I mean, you just click this and throw in your Outlook and email it off to someone. And these are good quality pieces that are interesting, again, to anyone that's in this particular mode of buying an investment property and that kind of thing. Okay. Actually, I'm going to put you on mute for a second. I got a cough. Like I said, I'm sick here. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so we have all this different content. You can post it to your social media. You can throw it and email it off to anyone. All of our posts, by the way, you can email off to someone as well. This is the targeted content that I was talking about. And you have a full list here that you can post into your social media. The last type is the lead generating post. And as I said, this is going to be out here shortly as well. The advantage of this post that you're looking at now is that it solicits a response. So, and they haven't bought one yet, they're going to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know more information. I want to buy a house. I really can buy a house straight out of college. And this is a good quality ebook that's branded to you, by the way. It's all your information, your logo, everything. So all they do is the visitor puts in their information, they put in their email address, and then zippy-zoo, it goes to their email. They get the ebook. You get email notified that you have this new lead. It's absolutely fantastic. It's perfect for, again, posting to a very specific audience. Now, again, the disadvantage, because all posts have sort of advantage and disadvantage, the disadvantage of this is that this really only appeals to millennials that don't have a house and that are looking to buy a house, right? And, for them to get anything, they have to put in their information, which is great for you and great for them. But again, it requires them to take action. Okay, I hope that makes sense. This is a post that you want to do, like, to your friends and followers anyway, the least frequently. Is that even a word? Least frequent. The least frequent. This isn't a post that you post every single day or even every single week. just every now and then you do this type of post that is designed to have people raise their hand, share it, that kind of thing. And that's the other thing. What's great about this is for that person that has a kid that is a millennial and they know that they're looking to buy a house and then they see this, this is the type of thing that they will like and share because, again, it hits them emotionally and they think very specifically that I know someone that is in this particular situation that could benefit from this particular post. The content marketing or the news type marketing doesn't do that, right? Because we're not talking about a very specific situation. We are trying to appeal to a wide variety of people, okay? So again, all posts have their place. All of them have advantages and disadvantages, and I kind of went through some of those here. All right, again, we kind of went long. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulty. If you go, by the way, before I kind of wrap this up, I'm going to have a few other things here, but take the time right now. If you have some questions, go ahead and put that in the chat box now because I have a couple other things I want to show you. I also want to show you how to take advantage of the 10% off, the $1 for 30 days right away. But look, first, one other thing, because I see this all the time and it drives me like batty. Social media is really a means to an end. As I say, actually, it's right there on my screen. Don't keep all conversations on social media. I mean, if you have 300 or 500 or 1,000 friends and followers on Facebook, you're talking to like almost none of them on a regular basis. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work that way. So use when they like or share or comment on some of your posts, use that as an opportunity to reach out to them and say, hey, thanks for liking this, and talk to them about their lives. Take it offline, have a conversation with them, sort of an icebreaker, because I know a lot of those people you might not have talked to in years. And so again, use this as a way to reacquainting yourself with them. Be social, obviously, and all that. Put your personality out there. LO Social Bot is great, again, for the heavy lifting. It helps you post to all your social media easily. Tons of content, which is obviously the heavy lifting in marketing, but also put your personality out there a little bit. People do business with people. This and LO Social Bot just lightens the load tremendously, okay? All right, so as I mentioned before, to take advantage of the 30 days, go to losocialbot.com. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you how to do it here in a second. I'm gonna go step by step here how to do it. Put Facebook in the discount code, and you also get 10% forever. And I don't think I really said this, you are price locked forever. So even though we're adding the content that I just showed you, the squeeze page or the sales page that generates leads, you are locked in to that forever. So just go to losocialbot.com like I am now. And if you guys could, Jack, if you could put that in the little chat box or question box or whatever for our guys, so that they can just click on it and then just scroll right down here, click create account, okay? Put in your name and the information, which is, you know, nothing. Click I'm not a robot because you're not a robot. Click setup, and then you pick your membership, okay? So, you know, 1 month, 6 months, 12 months. A member, it doesn't matter what you pick. It's $1 today. So you can see it, make sure it's everything that I said it is. But you're only getting charged $1 for 30 days. That's it. And if you're like, wow, this is great, well, then you hold on to it, which most everyone does. But if you're like, you know what, this isn't really for me, or I don't know why you would, but if you do, then you cancel. You're out $1. You know, that's it. Put in, this is where you put in the code. You put in Facebook, and as you can see, it goes down 10%, and it'll be like that forever. It's not like when it renews in a year or whatever that you're going to be, you know, stuck at a higher price. You get that discount forever. You say set up billing. You put in your credit card information. Once again, it's just $1 today for the 30 days. And once you complete this, right, and you click checkout, you're gonna go, and it's gonna like say, hey, we're doing some stuff or whatever, and then you're gonna be taken to the scheduler page, and just follow the 3 steps that I went over with you. Plus, you'll get a little pop-up here that reminds you of what those 3 steps are, which is do this, right? Set the schedule. And then connect your social network, and then you edit your marketing profile. Those are the only 3 things you absolutely have to do. But if you guys have questions, at the bottom of every one of our pages is our email address and our phone number. Feel free to reach out, because a lot of times you might have questions about, hey, what are best business practices? How frequently should I be posting on my personal page versus my business page versus my LinkedIn or whatever? Our member support can absolutely help you with that. But you can also email me as well, and I'll give you my email here in a second. But again, give it a try for 30 days for $1, 10% off forever. These are just some of our testimonials. Oh, and by the way, one last thing. If you're like, you know what, Jason, this seems great. I love the idea of marketing and social media. I love everything you're saying, but my company is a little bit skittish on this type of stuff. We have a corporate edition that has review, release, has archiving, has basically anything that any corporate enterprise that cares about social media, but they're worried about their loan officers marketing on for whatever reason, they absolutely love it, which is kind of weird because like compliance likes LO Social Bot and the loan officers doesn't happen very often. So you can also email me as well if you're one of those people. That's my email address, lutz@tbwsmail.com. If you have any questions that you're like, oh crap, I forgot to ask it here, or we don't get to for whatever reason because of my technical difficulties didn't help. So Jacqueline, are there any questions?
Yes, they are. Rory wanted to know, he's a real estate broker and originator. He wants to know if there's a good way to combine LO and RE.
Combine, I don't know. So RE and LO Social Bot. So for those of you that aren't aware, we have another product that's called RE Social Bot, which is for real estate agents, and obviously LO Social Bot here. They're very similar products, very similar content, and we've tweaked a few things because it's geared towards real estate agent. Like one would be fields, right? Because you don't have the same fields. But they're very similar. So I don't know, like there's really no way to combine them, and there's no real way to. The only thing I could suggest, just off the top of my head, but this is a very narrow-ended question, is to post the very real estate related content using RE Social Bot, which we have the real estate market overview. You'd want to use RE Social Bot, maybe mortgage market overview, use your LO Social Bot. That might be one suggestion. Any other questions?
Yes, somebody wants to know how long is the offer good for and what is the code?
Again, the code is Facebook. Let me go back. Here's the code, Facebook, right? It's $1 for 30 days. You get 10% off forever. And this is good until we have our encore. So what we typically do is for those people that couldn't show up, we're going to hold another one probably on Monday, maybe Tuesday at the latest. After that, the code will be no good.
Okay, great. And Jennifer wants to know how frequent should she post to her social media?
That's a common question. It really depends on what type of content you're posting. And so let me kind of go back to our scheduler real quick. If you're posting news-related items, right, this type of content, you could be pretty aggressive. And the reason why is because you're not asking. See, people don't like to be sold, right? They don't want to be, pushed things. So if you're actually selling, like the lead generating post, that's sort of a sell, right? You're selling whatever information that you have. You're saying, hey, give me this and I'll give you that. That's sort of a pitch. But with this is just news, basically about their biggest asset. So you can be fairly aggressive. I will say this. You'll want to treat your personal page very different than your business page. And a lot of you out there have both. I suggest, as long as your company is cool with it, to post to both. And on your personal page, post a little less frequently. Maybe your mortgage market overview on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then your in-depth on a Friday. Sort of make it a little less frequent. But on your business, right, be far more frequent because that's a different group. That group has raised their hand saying, yes, I like this type of information. I'm interested. I'm hyper interested in real estate, my house, and values and interest rates and all that kind of stuff. So you can be far more aggressive with that. And Twitter, by the way, if you're on Twitter, post away. I mean, it's sort of one of those things, comes and goes. The feeds are so like blah, it's all over the place. And LinkedIn, again, it's a business related, post fairly, but I wouldn't post. Again, this is the type of stuff that our member support can help with as you're sort of setting your schedule. And by the way, we have these little things up here. You can say all business, and it sort of helps you sort of guide you in the default way, and then you can manipulate it from there if you wish. But fun real estate news and home tips, not so much, I don't think, for LinkedIn. I mean, not that it wouldn't be appropriate. It's not like you're posting political views or something of that nature, but it's, it's just fun stuff, technology. It's not really, I don't think it's really meant for LinkedIn. I hope that helps. But actually, if you have any questions specifically to your group, your situation, of course, give us a call here on our member support, and we can certainly help you out.
All right, that is actually all the time we have for questions, but for all of you webinar attendees, you'll get a recording sent of the webinar sent early next week. If you submit a question that was not one of the ones Jason answered, they'll be sent to Jason. Thank you for attending our webinar, and thank you, Jason, for a great presentation. We will see you on the next webinar.